Welcome to our video today, where we delve into a compelling and timely topic that is crucial for our world's geopolitical landscape. In an era defined by shifting power dynamics, strategic foresight, and international relations, one nation stands at the forefront of a transformative journey: India. As it navigates its path in the 21st century, India faces the pressing need to understand deterrence and embark on a significant military modernization process, akin to the remarkable journey undertaken by its Asian neighbor, China. In this video, we will explore the intricacies of this strategic imperative, analyzing the lessons India can draw from China's experience in balancing power dynamics and countering the influence of a global superpower, the United States. Join us on this intellectual voyage as we dissect the challenges, opportunities, and potential outcomes of India's pursuit of deterrence and military modernization. So, let's embark on this journey together and discover the key factors that will shape the future of India's role on the global stage. The Indian military and strategic community are still grappling with the concept of deterrence in today's world, as they are unfamiliar with the connection between conventional and nuclear deterrence that evolved during the Cold War and beyond. They have yet to fully comprehend how the idea of deterrence has grown to encompass not only nuclear weapons but also new-age technologies that can be used in warfare. There are two alarming reasons for concern here. First, China has emerged as India's main threat. Second, China not only fully comprehends deterrence but is actively developing it against the US. This strategy aims to dissuade the US military from engaging in war over Taiwan, while leaving India particularly vulnerable to Chinese aggression. In a recent article for the Hindustan Times, Rakesh Sood, India's former envoy for disarmament and non-proliferation, asserts that India's doctrine is specifically designed to discourage the threat and actual use of nuclear weapons. Consequently, he suggests that the Kargil War of 1999 and the Mumbai terrorist attacks in 2008 cannot be regarded as failures of nuclear deterrence. Similarly, Shivshankar Menon, India's former national security advisor, highlights in his book, India and Asian Geopolitics, that since India openly declared itself a nuclear state in 1998, there hasn't been any credible threat of nuclear weapon usage against India nor any attempts at nuclear blackmail to influence its behavior. Menon argues that in this sense, India's nuclear weaponry has fulfilled its intended purpose. Both diplomats possess extensive experience in dealing with nuclear matters, but is their positive outlook justified when considering the broader scope of conflict? What deterrence really means. First, let's define what is meant by deterrence. In order to achieve their core objectives, nations sometimes turn to war when peaceful options are not feasible. In doing so, the nation initiating the war needs to have the assurance that it can effectively control the situation and accomplish its military goals. Without this control, the use of force loses its purpose. Therefore, deterrence involves preventing an adversary from gaining control over the course and escalation of the conflict. It encompasses a range of actions that extend beyond just the combat space and involve the entire nation. Now, let's take a fresh look at the Cold War. In the 1950s, the Soviet Union held a clear advantage over the US military in terms of conventional forces. While the Soviets may not have been as technologically advanced as the US, their sheer quantity gave them an edge. In response, President Dwight Eisenhower implemented a tactical strategy to counter any potential Soviet offensive in Europe. This strategy involved introducing battlefield atomic or tactical nuclear weapons as a means of deterrence. Rather than attempting to match the Soviets' numerical advantage tank for tank and gun for gun, Eisenhower sought to offset it with the introduction of TNWs. The TNWs were effective due to America's strategic advantage in nuclear weapons, specifically those with large explosive yields. Known as the New Look strategy, it operated under the belief that if the Soviets responded to the US's TNWs with their own strategic nukes, the US could counter with a larger nuclear arsenal. As the Soviets did not challenge this assumption, the New Look strategy became known as America's first offset strategy, successfully countering the enemy's advantage. However, in the 1970s, two significant developments occurred. Firstly, the Soviets, while maintaining a substantial amount of conventional weapons, managed to equal the United States in certain crucial conventional technologies. Furthermore, their inventory of strategic nuclear weapons was now comparable to that of the US in terms of range and yields, making the early use of TNWs, popularly known as tactical nuclear weapons, a highly risky proposition. The possibility of engaging in a nuclear war without holding a superior strategic nuclear arsenal became too dangerous since the United States' control over the nuclear escalation ladder was no longer seen as credible. As a result, this led to the implementation of the US's second offset strategy, which involved moving away from reliance on nuclear weapons. Instead, the U.S. military sought after highly accurate and long-range guided conventional munitions known as precision-guided munitions. The objective was to neutralize the Soviet conventional forces before they could assemble for an assault. Precision and standoff attacks on the battlefield were achieved through the utilization of battle networks, which are software systems, as well as outer space. By employing conventional munitions, the same level of battlefield impact as tactical nuclear weapons, TNWs, could be attained. The United States put elements of this second offset strategy to use during the Gulf War in 1991, specifically in Operation Desert Storm against Iraq. The results were nothing short of remarkable. Lessons from the U.S. offset strategies. There were two key takeaways from these offset strategies. Firstly, it is necessary to have strong conventional forces in state-on-state warfare for both deterrence and effective war control if deterrence fails. The U.S. developed its first and second offset strategies to address the challenge posed by the large Soviet conventional forces. Additionally, nuclear forces cannot replace conventional forces, but they can limit an enemy's ability to control the course of a war and regulate escalation. Therefore, it is crucial for major powers like the US-Russia or US-China to have credible and separate conventional and nuclear deterrence to avoid war. This principle also applies to medium powers like India-Pakistan. However, it does not hold true for the relationship between a major power like China and a medium power like India, as China's superior conventional forces alone would be sufficient for achieving its military objectives in a conflict. In order to advance this argument, it is important to note that nuclear weapons have not played a significant role in the crises, conflicts, and wars between India and Pakistan. Since gaining independence, both countries have focused on building their conventional military capabilities at a campaign level, which ultimately determines the outcome of a war. This explains why the Indian military has been unable to remove the military line, known as the Line of Control, in the western region between India and Pakistan. This line was established as a ceasefire line in January 1949 and later renamed after the territorial changes that occurred during the 1971 war. During the 1971 war, the Indian military conducted its offensive operations in East Pakistan, which ultimately led to the creation of Bangladesh. The then Army Chief, General Sam Manekshaw, instructed the Indian Army's Western Army commander, Lieutenant General K.P. Kandeth, to firmly hold the Western Front. This defensive posture was referred to as strategic defense. Before launching the offensive in the eastern sector, Manekshaw had requested 6 months of preparatory time from Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. The Army's preparedness for war with Pakistan diminished further after 1990 when it became involved in counter-terrorism operations in Jammu and Kashmir, which are ongoing. As a result, the Army leadership neglected to establish conventional deterrence against Pakistan, which emboldened the latter to carry out actions such as Kargil in 1999 and Mumbai in 2008. Additionally, the Vajpayee government engaged in a 10-month-long military standoff, Operation Parakram, in December 2001 against Pakistan, but was unsuccessful in compelling them to cease their proxy war in Kashmir. Therefore, the claim that India's nuclear deterrence has been successful is incorrect, as India lacks the means to prevent Pakistan from initiating crises and conflicts due to its lack of conventional deterrence. China is deterring India, that too by conventional means. China's case stands apart. In a remarkable display, India's Prime Minister was deterred without any violence by the conventional capabilities of the People's Liberation Army, PLA. It is reported that the PLA took control of around 2,000 square kilometers of Indian territory in East Ladakh in May 2020. Although India declared that the PLA did not occupy any land already. Before we continue, I'd like to ask for a quick favor. If you're finding value in this video, please take a moment to hit that like button right now. It really helps us out. And if you want to stay updated with more content like this, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring that notification bell. Lastly, sharing is caring. If you think this video can benefit others, please share it with your friends and on your social media. Your support means the world to us, and it keeps us going. Trolled by the Indian Army since 1993, they still signed an unfavorable joint statement for peace with China on September 10, 2020 in Moscow to prevent the situation from escalating. China not only dismisses India's nuclear deterrence, but also refuses to acknowledge India as a country possessing nuclear weapons. In the event of a war between India and China, if India were to threaten the use of nuclear weapons or attempt to assemble them, the People's Liberation Army, PLA, could respond in one of three ways: by dismantling India's nuclear weapons kill chain through cyber, electronic, or long-range precision hypersonic glide vehicles, by employing lower-yield nuclear weapons as a warning, or by adopting a launch-on-warning, low, nuclear posture. This low strategy involves launching a nuclear strike upon detecting an incoming hostile missile. The early detection system, consisting of ground and space-based components, a control center, and a data processing system, was provided to China by Russia. This comprehensive system, which includes strategic early warning capabilities, command and control functions, and rapid response capabilities, is currently only possessed by three nations: the United States, Russia, and China. China takes deterrence against the U.S. military over Taiwan seriously. The People's Liberation Army, PLA, has implemented a robust conventional deterrence strategy, known as Anti-Access Area Denial, A2/AD, along its mainland. This defensive firewall spans the 177 kilometers distance to Taiwan across the strait. The A2/AD refers to the PLA's counter-intervention strategy and encompasses various capabilities such as long and medium-range ballistic missiles, hypersonic and supersonic cruise missiles, early warning and long-range radars, an integrated air and missile defense system, IAMDS, long-range reconnaissance satellites and aircraft, as well as cyber, electronic, and counter-space capabilities. C. Thanks, and let's get back to the video. B. In addition to the Integrated Air and Missile Defense System, IAMDS, the People's Liberation Army, PLA, has implemented other defensive measures. This includes terrestrial and airborne electronic warfare systems capable of jamming hostile aircraft and drone communication. To shoot down drones, they are utilizing directed energy weapons equipped with 100 kilowatt solid-state lasers. Considering the vast landmass they need to defend, the PLA has always placed great importance on a comprehensive IAMDS. This system is supported by the Airborne Warning and Control System, AWACS, which extends its range. China's most advanced AWACS, the KJ-500, is equipped with aerial refueling capability to enhance its persistent air coverage. In addition to this, the PLA's Airborne Early Warning and Communication, AEW&C, aircraft, along with special mission aircraft like the Y-9, are employed for communication jamming and electronic countermeasures. These tactics aim to disrupt the enemy's battlespace awareness at long ranges. Overall, the counter-intervention strategy, or A2/AD firewall, is implemented to prevent the U.S. military from accessing Chinese bases and to limit their operational freedom once they are there. China's strategy-based military planning offers lessons. Drawing inspiration from U.S. offset strategies, the PLA is in the process of developing an independent nuclear deterrence capability that goes beyond its conventional deterrence measures. As part of this effort, the PLA has been actively constructing numerous intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs, ICBM silos, and long-range cruise missiles. In addition, the PLA has ventured into uncharted territory by expanding its deterrence capabilities to include space, as demonstrated by its successful test of the Fractional Orbital Bombardment System, FOBS, in August 2021. During this test, the PLA employed its Long March 3C rocket armed with a hypersonic glide vehicle, HGV, that was launched to a height of 150 kilometers, entering a low Earth orbit. By meticulously planning the re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere at a location outside of the range of North America Aerospace Defense Command, NORAD, radars facing north, the PLA was able to evade detection. Once inside the atmosphere, the HGV, boasting a remarkable range of 2,000 kilometers, took advantage of three distinctive features: incredible speed exceeding Mach 5, exceptional maneuverability, and the ability to glide at high altitudes, effectively eluding terrestrial radars throughout most of its journey towards the intended target. The most significant announcement on deterrence, which went unrecognized by the Indian media, was made by Chinese President Xi Jinping during the 20th Party Congress in November 2022. President Jinping called upon the PLA to establish a robust strategic deterrence system that expands beyond nuclear capabilities to encompass cyber and space warfare. In these domains, the PLA surpasses the US military. Cyberspace, an interconnected virtual world that encompasses everything between computers and the internet, facilitates the transmission of multimedia data like text, graphics, audio, and video at the speed of light. When malware, such as a virus, infiltrates cyberspace, it can wreak havoc by destroying data, paralyzing commercial and financial facilities, disrupting telecommunications, power systems, hospitals, and other essential service networks. The result is widespread chaos and panic among civilians. In times of peace, crises, or during the early stages of war, being able to act swiftly in the realm of cyber warfare aligns with Sun Tzu's wisdom: victorious warriors win first and then go to war. China possesses the necessary resources, including supercomputers, expertise in nanotechnology, and skilled cyber warriors capable of crafting complex algorithms, to develop advanced software cyber weapons. As a result of its persistent cyber attacks, China has obtained a deep understanding of India's cyber vulnerabilities. This knowledge will be utilized in formulating a comprehensive cyberwar strategy at the highest level. The planning and execution of the People's Liberation Army's (PLA) cyberwar campaign will fall under the authority of the Strategic Support Force, a division that directly reports to the Joint Staff Department, headed by Commander-in-Chief Xi Jinping. From cyber to space. Cyber weapons possess three distinct qualities that deem them highly effective as strategic deterrents and elements of warfare. Firstly, their ability to seamlessly merge the virtual and physical domains enables them to destroy tangible assets using software-based weaponry, as exemplified by the Stuxnet attack on Iran's nuclear centrifuges in 2010. Secondly, their non-attributable nature ensures that identifying the source of the attack becomes a formidable challenge. Lastly, these weapons have the capability to launch deep cognitive assaults on political leadership through nationwide cyber attacks. Such exceptional characteristics have prompted the Pentagon to allocate $58.5 billion for cybersecurity in its software networks and communication systems against China in 2024. The use of artificial intelligence, AI, in offensive cyber capabilities creates a distinct advantage, as these capabilities have the ability to be highly accurate, persistent, and effective on a larger scale. This becomes even more challenging as 5G networks come into play, enabling billions of Internet of Things (IoT) devices. As a result, the focus will largely shift towards continuous attacks, with humans playing a lesser role in the cyber landscape. Furthermore, China is actively developing a wide range of capabilities to counter space threats. These efforts encompass various missions designed to destroy satellites using direct-ascent anti-satellite (ASAT) technology and co-orbital ASAT missions. China is also investing in microsatellites, ground-based satellite jammers, directed energy weapons (DEWs), and computer network operations. It's worth highlighting that upon deployment, co-orbital ASATs can remain inactive for extended periods before becoming operational. Among the non-physical capabilities possessed by the PLA, it is China's cyber-offensive capabilities that primarily worry the US. Utilizing cyber weapons, China can infiltrate cyberspace and potentially disrupt, disable, or even obliterate satellites in any orbital position. Moreover, DEWs and microsatellites are also considered potential threats, albeit with lesser public attention. Directed energy weapons, DEWs, encompass both high-powered lasers, HPL, and high-powered microwave, HPM, weapons. These weapons are designed to disrupt and disable satellites by causing damage to their electronics. The People's Liberation Army, PLA, has made significant advancements in the field of microsatellites. Microsatellites are defined as any object, whether man-made or natural, that has a mass greater than 10 kilograms but less than 100 kilograms. These microsatellites can either be debris or weaponized satellites. The latter type holds an advantage due to its low cost, difficulty in tracking, and superior maneuverability, allowing it to move at high velocities. These weaponized satellites have the capability to collide with their target satellite, thereby destroying it, or they can attach themselves as a parasite and disable the target satellite's electronics. The PLA is also developing a specific type of microsatellite called co-orbital satellites, which are equipped with robotic arms. These co-orbital satellites have the ability to displace a satellite from its intended orbit using mechanical means, rendering it ineffective. It should be noted that India's intelligence gathering, Earth observation, and scientific spacecraft are particularly vulnerable to these in response to the evolving nature of space as not only a militarized domain, but also one that is weaponized and serves as a strategic deterrent, the U.S. military took action in 2019. They established a new branch called the Space Force, adding it to the existing branches of the Army, Air Force, Navy, and Marines. This decision was made in order to address the challenges posed by countries like Russia and China, who have become significant players in space warfare. Challenge for India. The Indian military should reassess its approach and fully comprehend the concept of deterrence. It should abandon its current capacity-based or threat-based modernization tactics, which have been pursued with only half-hearted determination against Pakistan since independence. Instead, the Indian military should embrace a strategy-based modernization approach, similar to what the PLA has successfully employed against the US military. Unfortunately, Indian military leaders seem to be unaware of the strategy-based approach that emerged from the US's Operation Desert Storm in 1990-91. This operation highlighted the unique strengths of the US, particularly their software networks and space-based capabilities. Taking inspiration from this, the PLA developed a strategy known as systems destruction warfare. This strategy focused on the ability to disrupt US networks using cyber weapons and giving prominence to space and counterspace capabilities. With limited financial resources, the PLA managed to establish credible conventional deterrence, which has now been elevated to strategic deterrence. It is a model worth emulating. In conclusion, as we've explored India's need to understand deterrence and modernize its military, drawing inspiration from China's example, we recognize the significance of these strategic decisions in today's global landscape. The choices made by nations have far-reaching consequences, shaping the world we live in. We hope this video has shed light on this critical topic, and we invite you to stay tuned for more insightful content in the future. Thank you for joining us on this journey, and until next time, stay informed and stay engaged. Orbital threats. T.